afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. Today on the program, we're going to learn about an effort by the state of Vermont to recognize and honor businesses that provide policies and practices that support mature workers. It's called the Governor's Award for Business Excellence in Supporting Mature Workers. Why such an award? Well, it's well documented that a major demographic shift is taking place in our country, in particular here in Vermont. Simply put, our population is aging. It's a change that will affect programs such as Social Security and Medicare. It will also impact our workforce. A labor pool of mature workers presents both challenges and opportunities. To find out more, I'm joined by Greg Voorhees. Greg is the Mature Worker Program Coordinator at the Vermont Department of Disabilities, Aging and Independent Living. He is also heads up the Governor's Award for Business Excellence in Supporting Mature Workers. Thanks so much for coming in.
Oh, thanks, Judy. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's also very exciting to talk about this award. We just recently had an award ceremony, actually. But let me just take a couple of seconds and emphasize what you started to talk about, but make it Vermontish. Vermont is the second oldest state in the country with approximately an average age of about 42 and a half years old. Maine is the oldest at 44 and a half, so we're really close on their heels.
Right.
Since 2010, approximately 14% of Vermont's population was 65 or older. We project that in 2030, almost 30% or more of our population will be 65 and older. In 2005, approximately 3.5% of our labor force, working labor force, was 65 and older. In 2015, it was 7%.
Really?
So the story is that there's an acceleration of aging. And today, it's probably 9 or 10%. So that's why we're very excited and interested in this thing called the mature worker.
Just tell us who the mature worker is. Who's considered mature?
Well, the mature worker can be defined several ways. At the federal level, in the Age Discrimination Act, we have the age of 40, pretty well clearly stated. For federal employment and training programs, they use the age 55. When we're looking at full retirement age today, we're looking at 66. It used to be 65. Everyone used to say, well, 65, I'm going to retire. So I think it's sort of a moving target, but if you look at 55 and older, you've got basically the mature worker.
So tell me a little bit about this award.
The award came about a couple of years ago under the auspices of the Governor's Commission on Successful Aging. It was started originally, the commission was started originally by Governor Douglas. It was called the Healthy Aging Commission, and then Governor Shumlin called it the Successful Aging Commission. It had a committee on the workplace of the three areas it was really focused on: housing and living and healthcare. And one of them was employment. And so it was made, the committee and the commission is made up of multiple different types of people: business people, state people, just lay people, people interested in the topic. And we developed the award at that time. What's
the criteria?
The criteria has four major parts. One of them is retention and recruitment. So that's number one. So if you look at retention and recruitment, if you dissect that a little bit, do businesses have any specific programs targeting older workers, trying to hire them? Do they have general benefit packages? Do they have an environment of wellness? Do they have a mentoring opportunity so older individuals can mentor younger individuals?
Right.
A second criteria deals with retirement programs and retirement planning. Do businesses help people figure out how to retire? Do they talk about Medicare? Do they talk about Social Security? Some businesses actually provide on-site financial literacy training, which is fantastic. Then there's a third criteria, which is training and skill development. And that's pretty obvious. Do they have programs that train you to learn about new technology techniques, for example, and regardless of age? And the fourth criteria deals with workplace flexibility and accommodations. Can you telecommute? Can you work part-time? Is there freedom to adjust your work content because of your current circumstances.
Right.
Can you take a sabbatical? Those are the 4 criteria.
So what Vermont businesses have received this award this year?
This year we had 4, and it was they were awarded last month at the Vermont Society for Human Resource Management's Fall Conference, SHRM, in Killington, which is fantastic. We really, really appreciate their help. And 4 businesses received them. One was GW Plastics in Bethel. One was Chroma Technology in Bellows Falls. One was Central Vermont Home Health and Hospice. And a 4th, which we'll hear a little bit later from, was the Vermont Associates for Training and Development in St. Albans.
Was there 1 or 2 of these recipients have programs that particularly stood out to you?
Yes, Chroma Technology especially. Chroma has the ability and the interest in modifying their current positions if there are circumstances in an individual's life, family care, for example, that requires more time away. And so they adjust the work schedule. They allow for sabbaticals. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
They also have a very low they have a very high retention rate, a very low loss rate.
And so let me take a moment to point out the contact information for the Governor's Award for Business Excellence in Supporting Mature Workers. You can go online to the Department of Disabilities, Aging and Independent Living website. It is dail.vermont.gov. You can also email Greg. His email address is on your screen. It's greg.voorhees@vermont.gov. Well, joining us now is Mary Brannigan. Mary is a program director with the Vermont Associates for Training and Development. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Tell us about the work that your program does to support older workers.
Well, Vermont Associates for Training and Development is a private 501c3 nonprofit corporation, and we administer workforce development projects. And what that means is we help people get the training that leads to better jobs.
You offer something called the Senior Community Service Employment Program. What is that and how does it work?
Well, we shorten that to SCSEP, and the way the SCSEP, thank you, the way the SCSEP works is essentially we take people who are age 55 plus who are currently unemployed and who want to work, and we place them in paid internships at nonprofits in their community. So some of the popular sites that we have would be museums, schools, town clerks' offices, hospitals, senior centers, and for 20 hours a week, people go and they actually receive training at these agencies, but they're contributing at the same time. So there's really a dual purpose mission to the project. People are receiving training that leads to jobs, and they're also contributing to their own community in a very meaningful way. And I find it really exciting and really productive.
And so what are some of the characteristics of people who apply to the program?
Well, there are certain things that everybody has in common who's in the program. They are all age 55 plus. They're all otherwise unemployed. And all of them want training and they want to work. Some characteristics that are more specific, a lot of people who come to us have been laid off from previous jobs and they want to get back to work and they need some help doing that.
Right.
And other people retired and they find that that doesn't work for them, either financially or personally. They need to work for their own health and success. And both of those people come to us and we're able to help both, and I'm really proud of that.
Now, Vermont Associates has been in business since 1983. What have you learned about older workers?
Well, we have a lot of data about older workers, and what we know that I find really compelling is what motivates them. They do tend to have different motivations than younger people. They tend to be looking for something that they find meaningful and that they can take pride in doing. They also tend to want to work and engage with work a little bit differently than when they were younger. They want to do something typically part-time, and they want to do something that they find fun, that they can use their knowledge and also learn new things, and something that they find to be fulfilling and something that makes them happy.
Now, as Greg mentioned earlier, Vermont Associates is a 2017 recipient of the Governor's Award for Business Excellence. So how do you support mature workers?
Well, the main program that we run, the most popular program that we run, is specific to mature workers. And aside from that program, within our own staff, we really focus on the ongoing professional development of everyone on our team. Specifically, two things. We concentrate on ongoing skills growth and technology. A lot of people tell me that as soon as they learn the technology, as soon as they learn the software, there's an update and they have to relearn it.
Right.
So we provide...
Yes. Guilty.
So we try to continuously provide growth opportunities for them, and As well, we also provide opportunities for staff to mentor each other. We find that a lot of younger people tend to be exceptional mentors of technology to their older peers, and older people are wonderful mentors for younger people in terms of teaching them work ethic, integrity, honesty, and showing them what professionalism is, what customer service is. That's where older people excel, and employers cannot do without that.
I was going to say, why should an employer hire an older worker for these reasons?
Well, that's an incredibly easy question for me to answer, because I find my experience with older workers, both professionally and personally, is that they absolutely understand customer service. They really take pride in what they do. They show up and they care about what they're portraying, and they care about doing a job well. And I find that universally employers who work with us, and we work with many in the state of Vermont as well as 4 other states in New England, all of them tend to have that experience, and I believe that to be their characteristics that make older workers special.
It's a stabilizing influence. It's a way of imparting institutional knowledge and maintaining an equilibrium within a company. We didn't talk about this earlier, but I'd like to give a shout out to a colleague of mine, Nat Piper, who said to me one day, he said, "Greg, why don't employers look at a retirement slope or gradual retirement, a phased retirement, instead of a retirement cliff?"
Well, I don't know that that's been culturally presented to us.
I don't think it has, and that's one thing we need to do. We need to talk about that. We need to discuss, well, how to do it. And employers have a lot of questions about it, and they should have questions about it.
So what are some of the workforce challenges that you hear about through your work?
Well, one of the things that I hear is that people don't necessarily know with whom to speak about what they want to do for the rest of their lives. Where do you go to find some of those answers? What are some of the opportunities and the possibilities? And then if you find something that might cost some money, how are you going to pay for it? Is there a resource someplace? You might be a Voc Rehab client, or you might somehow be eligible for a program that Mary was talking about, or the Department of Labor in Vermont might run. But if you're not, you really have to have some support in doing what you want to do.
If you're a business owner, what should you be thinking about? What's the most important thing to do to support mature workers?
Well, I find that a business that provides opportunities for people to continuously learn, a business that provides flexibility, a business that makes people feel valued and offers opportunity to be recognized for what you do well, those are the businesses where people are happy and they retain people more effectively and they recruit people more effectively. So I think employee morale is huge, and also providing opportunities for people to do the things that they are good at, making them successful. That's what makes people happy and what makes people want to go to work.
Well, it also keeps them healthier physically because they're engaged. They feel a part of a bigger picture. They feel as though they're valued and they have something that they can contribute. And that gives them a sense of self-worth and keeps them healthy.
Well, you know, which they do have something to contribute, a lot to contribute.
Absolutely.
I mean, a lifetime of experience.
Absolutely. So why turn off the switch? Let's keep the motor running.
And so, Mary, how can people learn more about what Vermont Associates offers?
Well, we operate in 5 states in New England, and anyone can go to our website, which is www.vermontassociates.org, or you're welcome to call us during business hours, 800-439-3307.
And Greg, what would you say to folks who maybe watch this and think, yeah, I really need to be doing something, I really need to get back in the game?
Well, one thing they could do is go to civicventures.com and that website and look at it. They could also talk to the Vermont Department of Labor staff and seek support and counsel on what their options are. They could go to the labor market information portion of the Vermont Department of Labor. They could talk to a Voc Rehab staff person. But what they need to do is stay active, pursue it, be energized, and don't get discouraged.
And how about for a business owner who maybe wants to learn more about how to foster this kind of an atmosphere?
Well, that's a good question. I'm working with the Vermont Center on Aging at the College of Medicine at UVM, and they are going to be potentially sponsoring some symposia with the Business Roundtable and the Economic Development Commissioner in the department on this very issue for businesses.
Well, terrific. Well, I want to thank you both for joining us today. It's a great topic.
Thank you for having us.
That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. I'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.